Welcome to JK Tells a Story, where real-life dramas unfold. Sit back and enjoy today's tale. Hello, Sophia? Yeah, it's me, Rachel. I was just getting out of the shower when my phone rang. I wanted to ignore the answering machine, but I didn't have time. What's wrong? You sounded absolutely desperate on your message. I just got back from grocery shopping and figured I better call you back. What's the matter? I did something really stupid, Rachel, and when I tell Connor about it, he's gonna divorce me. I just know it. What happened, Sophia? I slept with Marcus tonight. God, I feel horrible about it. He asked me to dinner after we danced at the reunion last night, and for some crazy reason I said yes. Then we went back to his hotel room and her voice broke. When I tell Connor, I know he'll want a divorce. I don't know what to do. She was crying now. Jesus, Sophia, don't tell Connor. He doesn't need to know. You made a big mistake. But isn't Marcus heading back to New York today? Yeah, but I hate myself. Marcus left right afterwards. I love my husband, I really do. It's just, Marcus was my first and I was thinking about old times and I really screwed up. Now I'm gonna lose Connor. Look, Sophia, you made a mistake. A big one. But it's over. Marcus lives in New York, he's married too, so he's not gonna brag about it. Let it go. Be the best wife and mother you can be. Don't deny Connor anything, and show him how much you love him. You're gonna have to live with what you did. But don't lose your marriage over one terrible mistake. You're right, Rachel. That wasn't even... Well, Connor's a much better lover anyway. I think I'll take your advice. I'll just have to live with it. This phone conversation happened 10 years ago. We had, and still have, one of those old answering machines that rings 4 times before the message kicks in. If you pick up while someone's still talking, it records the whole conversation. That's exactly what happened when Sophia left to go to the store. When I walked in and hit the message button, that's exactly what I heard. I was completely stunned. I had no idea what to do. My beautiful wife, the mother of our 3-year-old daughter Emma, had cheated on me with her ex-boyfriend. I didn't know what to think or feel. I needed to make a decision right then and there. So I took the tape out and put in a fresh one. I went through the laundry hamper and found the pink underwear she'd worn that morning. There were still faint stains. I put the tape and the underwear in a bag and hid them in the basement. I figured if I ever needed evidence, I'd have it. Let me tell you a bit about our lives back then. Sophia and I, along with Marcus and Rachel, all went to the same high school here in Dayton. Marcus and Sophia were known to everyone as the couple, until Marcus got caught by Sophia with his hands all over Victoria Hayes. When she saw them together, she yelled at Marcus and told him she never wanted to see him again. Of course, he tried to win her back, but she always refused. That's when Sophia and I started dating. I think at first she was just trying to get back at Marcus, but she ended up falling for me. I'd liked her throughout high school. I just never stood a chance while Marcus was around. Marcus was voted most likely to succeed in our yearbook. He played soccer and baseball. Sophia was Miss Congeniality and the prettiest girl in our class. Me? I got labeled MacGyver because of that TV show. I could fix or repair just about anything. I looked a bit like the guy from the show, though not nearly as handsome. Some friends even called me McConnor. Sophia and Marcus were prom king and queen, but she didn't want to spend much time with him. In fact, she was my date and he took Victoria Hayes. I have to tell you about Victoria. She was beautiful and, well, every guy in school had a crush on her. Here's the surprising part. After graduation, Victoria went into a convent. I swear she's a nun now, Sister Victoria Marie. After high school, Marcus left for university in New York. He wanted to become a lawyer and stay in the Big Apple. Sophia went to community college for secretarial skills, and I went to technical school to become an automotive repair specialist. We all got what we wanted. After college, Sophia and I fell deeply in love. We did everything together. When we got married, she got pregnant almost right away. We were so happy. We had a baby girl we named Emma, She was our pride and joy. I opened my auto repair shop right here in Dayton. I literally had more work than I could handle, so I hired 2 guys to help me. People wanted their cars fixed fast, and we prided ourselves on full service. I even opened half days on weekends to get everything done. Life was good. Everything was wonderful. My parents were very proud of me. Sophia's parents thought I was sweet and a good provider, but I always got the feeling they wished she'd waited for Marcus to come back. You can't change everyone's mind, that was my philosophy. I tried my best to be a good husband and father. When our 5th-year reunion was coming up, I didn't really want to go. I wouldn't have minded seeing how some of the girls I knew were doing. I'd seen many of them when they brought their cars to my shop. We had a class of really good-looking women, and Sophia had kept her beauty and personality. She really wanted to go to the reunion, so we went. Sophia looked amazing. She always did. I think she dressed a little sexier than usual for her old classmates, including Marcus. When I told her how beautiful she looked, she said she needed to maintain her title as prettiest. She also said she dressed for me, of course. We got to the reunion, and naturally Marcus came running over to say hi to us. He really wanted to see Sophia. He didn't care about me at all. I shook his hand and asked where his wife was. He said she couldn't make it and was running their office until he got back Sunday night. She'd been his secretary before they married, and she told him she'd stay his secretary after. Something told me she wore the pants in that family. I talked to most of our classmates and danced with a few of the girls. Every time I danced with someone, I noticed Sophia was dancing with Marcus. It made me a little angry, so I told her about it. She started dancing with other classmates after that. We ended the reunion dancing the last few songs together. Some of the class wanted to meet for lunch the next day before the out-of-town people headed home. I said I couldn't make it because I had some cars to finish. Sophia said she'd try to come if she could get her mom to watch Emma. I wanted to object, but that would have made me look bad, and Sophia had never done anything to make me distrust her. I got up early and went to work while Sophia was still sleeping. I had to stay a little later than usual. When I got home around 5 in the evening, there was a note on the table from Sophia saying she'd gone to pick up our daughter. I saw the answering machine blinking and listened to it. When Sophia got home, she said her mom would keep Emma overnight so we could be alone. She took me into the bedroom and made passionate love to me. I asked her what the special occasion was, and she said she wanted to show me how much she loved and cared for me. I guess that was the beginning of the guilt I was about to experience. I don't know if I did the right thing by not telling her I knew about the affair. I believed she was truly sorry, and the way she made love to me was incredible. We probably made love more times that night than we ever had in our entire marriage. It didn't stop that night. The next morning, she took care of me again. I had to call my guys and tell them I was going to be late to work. Life was better than usual, and she was always trying. I really felt like she was making it up to me for something I wasn't supposed to know about. She ended up getting pregnant from all the intimacy we were sharing. Life was good. We had another baby girl and named her Grace after my grandmother Grace. Over the years, Grace became my little sweetheart. Emma always stayed with her mom in the kitchen or around the house, but Grace always wanted to come to the garage with me. I took her with me as often as I could. I didn't want her in the garage too much for safety reasons, but I had a small apartment above the garage where I could relax or take a nap. It had a kitchen and bathroom, so I could shower instead of going home smelly and covered in grease. I used to take Grace there to play games whenever possible. She wanted to spend time with her dad, and I wanted to spend time with her too. We took the girls everywhere: amusement parks, camping trips. They loved the rides. Grace always wanted to go on everything with me, and Emma preferred going with her mom. Damn, I loved my family. I almost wish I'd never found out about the cheating. Life would have been perfect. When our 10-year reunion came around, I really didn't want to go. I was afraid of what I might do to Marcus if he showed up. My life had been good for the past 5 years, and I didn't want it to fall apart. I asked Sophia if she wanted to attend, and she said she didn't want to go either. I was relieved. Just in case friends called to convince Sophia otherwise, I bought us tickets to Kings Island amusement park. I booked motel rooms for 2 nights, making sure we wouldn't be available for any reunion activities. It was worth the expense. Sophia was still trying so hard to make things right. We had a great time at the park. My girls loved it, and Sophia couldn't have been more loving. As soon as the girls went to bed in the motel, she was ready to be intimate. We made quiet love that night. Watching Sophia experience pleasure while trying to stay quiet was beautiful. I was a lucky man. Both girls were in school by then, and Sophia took a part-time job as an assistant in the school office. That way she could be there for the girls, and it gave her something meaningful to do. My business was growing too. I hired 2 more employees. Life was good. The school offered DNA testing to all students. That way, if there was ever a problem, parents wouldn't have to find donors. The worst-case scenario, which nobody wanted to talk about, was if a child went missing, they could be identified. We tested both Emma and Grace. We were supposed to pick up the results 3 weeks later at the doctor's office. Sophia had to work at school that day, so she asked if I could slip past the doctor's office and pick up the results. I had no problem saying yes. After I walked into the office, the doctor told me their results. He said he was surprised that the girls looked so much alike since they were only half-sisters. My mind went blank. The doctor asked if I was okay, and I wondered what he meant by half-sisters. He said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have said anything. I didn't know you knew." "What, Doc? Are you saying they have 2 different fathers?" "Oh my God. I couldn't believe this was happening to me. I'm sorry, Connor. I shouldn't have said anything. The tests showed that one parent is different in each test." "Doc, can you give me a test? I need to know for sure." "I'm pretty sure, but I need the results of the test." The doctor reluctantly took my blood. He said he would hurry up and try to get the results back in a week. He apologized to me again and said he was sorry. I looked him straight in the eye and said, "Doc, I am not the biological father of one of my girls. I will tell you right now that they are both still my daughters, and I will love them equally. I am the only father they know, and if I find out that you have told anyone about this conversation, we will go in circles." Connor, my lips are sealed. I went home with the results. Sophia looked at them, but they meant nothing to her. Just a bunch of dots on a graph unless you knew how to read them. After she looked at them, I was pretty sure she didn't know that one of our daughters wasn't biologically mine. I went back and got my results a week later. I was right. My little pride and joy, Grace, was not my biological daughter. I knew it had to be from the affair with Marcus. God, I hated what she'd done to me. I hoped no one would ever find out. I wasn't even going to tell Sophia. For the next couple of weeks, I was depressed. Sophia asked me what was wrong, and I told her I wasn't feeling well. She said maybe I should see a doctor. I told her I had taken some medicine and it should help. In fact, I just drank almost a pint of whiskey and went to bed. The next morning I woke up, and there was little Grace lying on my arm. Time passed and I came to my senses a little. Life around me hadn't changed, and little Grace was still my favorite. Sophia was still as loving and sweet as ever. One day Rachel called and talked to Sophia. After they talked, Sophia told me that Rachel and her husband Mark were separating. They were divorcing after 10 years of marriage. She said it was because of irreconcilable differences. Rachel didn't say anything else. Life went on. Sophia and her secret, me and my 2 secrets. It was time for the 15-year reunion. Emma was 13 at the time and Grace was 10. Sophia said that Rachel wanted her to go to the reunion since she was on the committee with Rachel that year. It would be hard not to go if you planned it. I really didn't want to go, but I certainly wasn't going to let Sophia go alone. We went to the reunion. The classmates looked older, many of them we hadn't seen in 10 years since we had missed the last reunion. Marcus showed up, of course, again without his wife. He held out his hand for me to shake, and I told him, "Marcus, I'm tired of pretending I don't like you and never have. I'm not going to shake your hand, and I don't expect you to spend the entire meeting with my wife. Sophia looked at me and said, Connor, how could you talk so badly to Marcus? God, I'm embarrassed. She looked at Marcus and started apologizing for me, so I just waved my hand in disgust and walked away. Later she came up to me and started arguing with me. How could you do that, Connor? Marcus didn't do anything to deserve this. He's always treated you with respect. I almost snapped and told her everything, but I finally said, all he wants is to spend the whole night next to you, and we both know it. If you want him that bad, hell, here he is. Go get him. Sophia ran crying into the ladies' room. Rachel overheard part of the conversation and ran after her. Maybe I said too much. Maybe I'd had enough. I walked over to the bar and started drinking. Soon Sophia came back and said she was going to meet up with some classmates. I watched her, and she was really staying away from Marcus. I think she danced with him once all evening. I was practically sitting at the bar by myself. Every once in a while someone would come up and I would talk to them. When the meeting was over, Sophia had to help me to my car. She told me how much I'd embarrassed her, and then she gave me a silent treatment all the way home. When we got home, I went straight to bed. The alarm went off and I felt like crap. It was Sunday, but I had promised a few people to get their cars done. I got up and went to work. As I worked, I felt ashamed of the way I acted at the reunion. Sure, I hated Marcus and was mad at Sophia, but neither knew why. I called a couple guys at work. Since it was Sunday, I'd have to spend a few extra bucks, but I was going to drive home and take the family out to dinner. When I got home, the house was empty. It was 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The answering machine blinked. As I rewound it, Sophia must not have answered in time again, and I heard the message, "Hi Sophia. Hey girl, what are you up to?" It was Rachel. "Hey Rachel. Just got out of the shower when I heard the phone ring. What's wrong?" "Lunch. Do you want to come to lunch with a group of classmates?" "Who's coming, Rachel?" "Besides you and me, there's half the class. Can you make it?" "Marcus is going, Rachel." "Sophia, Connor will kill me if I go to lunch with Marcus." "For heaven's sake, Sophia, this is lunch with former classmates, not sex with one ex-boyfriend. Besides, you didn't even talk to Marcus last night, and it's just lunch. After the way Connor embarrassed you last night, it would do him good." "What time and where, Rachel?" "Holiday Inn at noon." "Okay, but I have to get home before Connor gets off work. He has to be home by 5 or earlier." That's it. She did it again. I went downstairs and pulled out the bag I'd had for 10 years. I shrink-wrapped it to make sure no air would get in. Then I started packing up my stuff. I was going to move and stay in the apartment above the garage. Most of my personal belongings were in my truck, and 2 suitcases were at the door waiting for Sophia. At 4 o'clock, she showed up at the door. She was wearing a mini dress with a deep neckline, jewelry, and all. She looked dressed for a date. "Connor, what are you doing home? I thought you were working until 5. I felt ashamed of the way I treated you yesterday, so I thought I'd make it up to you and take you out to dinner. It looks like you've already eaten." "Connor, there's something I have to tell you. Before you say anything, I want you to hear something." I played the recorded message. "Oh God, Connor, we weren't doing anything. We were just having lunch. I'm not going to do anything to hurt you. You have to believe me," she cried. "Let me tell you something, Sophia, and then we'll see if you can say the same. Since we've been married, I've never once had intimate relations with another person." "Can you say that, Sophia?" "Connor, to be honest, we only had lunch. There were about 30 people from the class there. Ask anyone. Marcus wanted to do something, but I wouldn't let him. I told him no, and if he tries it again, I'll tell you, and then I slapped him. Connor, you have to believe me. Absolutely nothing happened today." "Honestly? Then let me hear you say what I said, or are you lying?" "Okay, Connor, honestly, I haven't had intimate relations with anyone since we got married. Now will you let me explain what happened, so we can forget about it and make up? Not yet. I have another tape for you. I pulled out the tape, and she saw the pink underwear and cried out, God, Connor, no. It was a mistake. I didn't mean for this to happen. I love you. Only you. She listened to her conversation with Rachel from 10 years ago. She saw the dried underwear on the table. She was crying and didn't know what to say. One more thing you should know. I am not Grace's biological father. Your lover Marcus is. But as far as I'm concerned, she's my child, and I'm not going to let that freak of a boyfriend take her away from me. I put Grace's and my DNA paperwork on the table and a paper that said no match found. Sophia screamed, No, it can't be. It can't be true. Please, Connor. Please don't leave me. I love you, Connor. I love only you. As I was walking out the door with the last 2 suitcases, I heard her crying. Where do I start? I'll try to explain what happened without telling you everything again. In some places I'll have to repeat myself so that you understand both sides of the story. As Connor said, we all went to the same high school. Marcus was my boyfriend at the time. We were together for probably the better part of 2 years. We only had intimate relations once, and that was in senior year. It was after one of the school dances. Marcus came over to my house when no one was home. We had the usual experience that most young people have. After satisfying himself and making some crude comments, Marcus headed home. I couldn't have been more disappointed. You hear all these stories and watch movies, and then you actually do it. Over the next few weeks, Marcus wanted to do it again. I kept talking him out of it. I wasn't going to be just his plaything for fun. Then I caught him with Victoria behind the gym bleachers. He was all over her, and when I saw them, I called him a jerk and told him I wanted nothing more to do with him. He apologized to me over and over again. It didn't help and I stopped seeing him. That's when Connor and I started dating. I always liked him, but I never did anything about it because I was in an ongoing relationship with Marcus. Connor always thought I was dating him to make Marcus jealous. There's some truth to that, but I was also a high school girl and fell in love like most girls do. I was so happy when Connor asked me out. Just so you know, some people call him Connor, others call him Con. I use both names. It's pretty funny when you think about it. Connor thought all the girls were in love with Marcus because he was a jock. In reality, most girls were in love with Connor. He was smart, handsome, in good shape like any athlete, and could fix anything. We called him McConnor after the TV character MacGyver. We started dating, and about 6 months later, when we were both in college classes, we became intimate. Let me take that back, we made love. It was so good. After the Marcus episode, I wasn't expecting much, but Connor was so sweet and tender. We were in his apartment, and he laid me on the bed and kissed me gently. There was no rush with him, and that's how my second intimate experience happened. Then he lay down next to me until we both rested, and then he drove me home. We made love many times after that. We were lucky that I didn't get pregnant that first time. After we both graduated, we got married. He was a wonderful lover. My parents liked him, but the thought of Marcus being a lawyer appealed to them. I just told them I didn't love Marcus, I loved Connor, and that was the end of it. After that, I got pregnant and we had Emma. She was so sweet and cute. Everyone, including Connor, thought she looked like me. I think babies look like what you want them to look like. One day she looked like me, and the next day she looked like Connor. All I know is that she was a beautiful child. We were so happy. Life was good. Then came that awful day. We went to our 5-year reunion. We had a really good time. I guess I started putting myself out there too much. I remember dancing with Marcus a few times. I wanted him to see what he had given up for Victoria, who ended up becoming a nun. The next day, a few classmates went out for lunch before heading home. Connor couldn't come because he had some cars he promised to finish. I went alone and made the biggest mistake of my life. After lunch, I went to Marcus's room, and he started hitting on me. I know I kept saying no because I was married, but for some ungodly reason, I gave in and let him. I think it had something to do with me comparing him to Connor. I don't know. It was just a stupid mistake. When we, or should I say he, finished, I felt nothing but humiliation. At that moment, I realized how wrong it was. We both got dressed and I had to get out of there. I drove home crying. I needed to wash away all the dirt I felt. I can tell you right now that there's no way to wash away cheating. Once you've done it, it stays forever. I called my friend Rachel. I needed to tell someone how I felt. Rachel was my best friend, and I knew she would always keep it a secret if I asked her to. She wasn't at her place, so I left her a message to call me. I was in the shower trying to wash away my sin when the phone rang. I heard the answering machine pick up the call and managed to get to the phone before Rachel hung up. I told her what I had done and that it would lead to the end of my marriage and I would lose the man I loved. Then Rachel told me not to tell him. It would only hurt him and end a good marriage. I told her she was right. I did a very stupid thing and I had to live with it. I could make it up to Connor by loving him and our daughter. That's what I decided to do. I forgot about the stupid answering machine. Connor, as you know, got the tape and the underwear I was wearing and kept them. I didn't even think about the underwear. I have half a dozen pink pairs, and it didn't even occur to me that one was missing. When Connor came home, I took him into the bedroom and made love to him over and over again. I really loved him and decided that I could live with the pain of what I had done as long as I had Connor. About 9 months later, we had our second child. We named her Grace after Connor's grandmother Grace, so we named our sweet baby girl Grace after her. Again, everyone said she looked like me and Emma, and some said she looked like Connor. Personally, I thought she looked a lot like her sister Emma, and as she grew up, she looked more and more like Emma. You could tell they were sisters. Life went on, and we had a wonderful life. We did everything together with the children. Little Grace always wanted to go with Daddy, and Connor took her with him every chance he got. They could hardly be separated. When the 10-year reunion came around, I told Connor I didn't want to go. I didn't know if Marcus was coming from New York or not. I knew I didn't want to see him. Connor didn't mind. He wasn't much into reunions at all. He had specifically planned for the 4 of us to go to Kings Island amusement park. We spent 2 nights in a motel, took the kids on rides all day until they were tired, and made love when we got back to the room. Connor was a wonderful father and husband. We had DNA testing at our school. Every child could take the test, and the results were sent to the family doctor and could be picked up there. I asked Connor if he could go to the doctor's office and get Emma and Grace's results. He brought them home and showed them to me. It was a bunch of dots and dashes. It meant nothing to me, and Connor put them in the safe in case we ever needed them. In retrospect, I can remember Connor being a little discouraged. I thought he was sick with something, and he actually rested and drank a lot for about 3 days. He even slept on the couch, saying he didn't want me to pick up anything he might have caught. Looking back now, I realize I didn't notice any real difference in Connor. Grace lay down with him every morning. She tended to wake up in the middle of the night and always went to find Daddy. She loved him very much. Life seemed to be falling into a routine. The children were doing different things at school, and Connor and I attended all the events for both of them. I remember when Grace was about 9, there was a career day at school. She asked Connor if he could talk to the class about becoming an auto repair specialist. Connor laughed but said he would do it for her. After he spoke, Grace told the class how proud she was of her dad and that when she grew up, she wanted to be an auto mechanic like him. Connor said he couldn't help but be proud of her. Rachel was in charge of the 15-year reunion and asked me to help her with it. Connor was not enthusiastic about going and let me know about it. I had to go. I was part of the committee. Besides, I hadn't seen Marcus in 10 years and had no feelings for him. I dressed nicely for the reunion, but I always wanted to look nice. I wanted Connor to be proud of his wife. I was nice to people but tried not to flirt. I knew Connor hated it. When we walked through the door, Marcus was already there and came over to us. I couldn't believe what Connor told him. He said, "Marcus, I'm tired of pretending I don't like you, and I never have. I'm not going to shake your hand, and I don't expect you to spend the entire meeting with my wife. I looked at Connor and said, Connor, how could you say such a horrible thing? God, I'm embarrassed. I looked at Marcus and started to apologize. Connor just waved his hand in disgust and walked away. Later, I walked up to Connor and started arguing with him. How could you do that, Connor? Marcus didn't do anything to deserve this. He's always treated you with respect. I was just trying to smooth things over. Connor must have thought I still liked Marcus, which was completely untrue. Connor got drunk. We left the party early, and I drove him home. The next morning he went to work before I even got up. The girls had spent the night with my mom. I stepped into the shower, and then the phone rang. I was almost done and jumped out of the shower to answer it. The stupid answering machine went off, and I had to wait for it to stop. It was Rachel. She wanted to know if I was coming to lunch with the class. She said about half the class would be there. I decided to go and see some classmates I hadn't had time to hang out with since my husband got drunk and I had to drive him home. I figured Marcus would be there, but I would try to stay away from him. When I arrived at the Holiday Inn, we had the dining room reserved because so many classmates came to the reunion and were staying there. I saw Marcus and kept as far away as possible. I said hello to him as he approached but tried my best to stay away from him. He almost made me flinch. I had to go to the ladies' room, which was around the corner. When I came out of the ladies' room, Marcus was standing there and wouldn't let me pass. He grabbed my hands and tried to kiss me. He said that if I didn't cooperate, he would tell Connor about what happened at the 5-year reunion. I recoiled and kicked him hard, then brought my knee up and hit him where it hurt most. As I ran back to my seat, I ran past Rachel and Sister Victoria Marie. I know they saw the whole thing. I tried my best to be calm, but I was still a little shaky. I sat down among friends and felt much better. Marcus never came back to the table. He must have gone up to his room and then gone home. Rachel came back to the table and quietly asked if I was okay. I replied that I was and that I was going to tell Connor what Marcus had done today. I wasn't going to say anything about the 5-year reunion, just what happened today. I had our van, and Rachel asked if I could drive 5 members of the class to the airport. There were 3 girls and 2 guys. One of the couples was married. The ride to the airport was pleasant. We dropped off the classmates. Then I dropped off Rachel and headed home. When I walked into the house, Connor was standing there. He'd gotten home early and was planning to take me out to dinner to make up for being such an idiot at the reunion. I have something to tell you, I said. I was about to tell him what Marcus had done when our old answering machine started playing a recording. I told him I hadn't done anything wrong, but he didn't believe me. He didn't give me a chance to explain. I have another message you need to hear, he said. Then he played my conversation with Rachel from 10 years ago. I listened to myself admitting what I had done with Marcus. I broke down and started crying. I didn't even realize he'd known about it all along. Before turning on the tape, he'd asked me if I'd had intimate relations with anyone since we got married. I'd said no, not knowing he had the evidence. Then he gave me the worst news of my life. Grace isn't my biological daughter, he said. She's Marcus's. He took out the DNA results and placed them next to Grace's school photo, along with a piece of paper that said, "No match found." I wanted to die. I'll never forget him walking out that door while I sat there crying for me and crying for Connor. He'd been the perfect husband and father, holding it all together for 10 years, only to find out a few years after Grace was born that he wasn't her biological father. But he was her father in every way that mattered. He'd been there from day one, attended her birth, been there for every scraped knee and bedtime story. I wanted to die. I wanted God to come down right then and take me away. I figured I was going to hell anyway for what I'd done. I thought I'd lost the man I loved, and now I'd have to take the children and tell them their father had abandoned them. God help me. I should have known years ago that it would eventually come to this. I'd kept her affair secret for 10 years, and Grace's paternity for at least 4. Maybe I should have done something 10 years ago and ended it then. The last 10 years have been the best and worst of my life. We're both keeping the same secret. It's crazy. Since I knew and stayed with her anyway, why don't I just tell her I knew? At least I won't be waiting for her to cheat again, waiting to pull out the old tape and underwear. Why? Why after 10 years did she go back and get together with that creep? My head was spinning. I had questions for her and for myself, but no answers. Grace. My little Grace. Daddy's little girl. I wanted to make sure she never found out. She's my daughter, and I had to protect her. I had to make sure Sophia never told her. I didn't want anyone to find out. I believe Sophia will never reveal it. She was shocked when I told her about Grace's DNA and mine. Monday after school, I got a call in the garage. It was Grace. Daddy, when are you coming home? I miss you. Mommy cries all the time, and Emma just sits in her room. Come home, please, Daddy. God, I wished I could touch her heartstrings. Honey, Daddy can't come home right now. Mom and I are having some kind of problem. But I'll tell you what, I'll pick you and Emma up, and we'll go out for pizza or something. Can my mom come too? Not this time, honey. Maybe next time. Go ask Emma if she wants to go, Daddy. Emma wants to go, but she says she has to take care of Mommy. She won't stop crying. Can you and I go to McDonald's, and I'll get Emma and Mommy something? Damn, what great kids. Always worrying about everyone else. Yes, honey, we can do that. It's up to you to figure out what they want. I'll be there in about 20 minutes to pick you up. Okay, Daddy. I love you. I heard a voice in the background. Daddy, Mommy told me to tell you we all love you. I'll see you in a little while. Bye. Damn it. I just don't know what else to say. Damn it, damn it, damn it. I hate her and I love her. Why can't I think straight? I went and talked to the guys to close the garage when they were done. I had some really good guys working for me. They knew their stuff and I paid them well for it. I had their respect and they had mine. I told them that Sophia and I were having some problems, in case I snapped at them for no reason. I apologized in advance. Grace jumped into the truck and kissed me hard on the cheek. She kissed me 2 more times. She said one kiss was from Emma and the other was from Mom. With tears in my eyes, I drove to McDonald's. I informed Grace that I was staying in the garage apartment and that she and Emma could call me anytime. Even if I wasn't home, I would still be available to them at any time. I asked her to tell her mom that I had some things to tell her and I would call her tomorrow after school. The next day when I called, Emma answered the phone and said her mom was in the bathroom and would be right out. Then she asked, Daddy, what happened so bad that you moved out? Did Mommy, me, or Grace do something? I know I'm only 13, but I'm pretty smart. I know you wouldn't just leave us like that. What happened, Dad? What did we do? Honey, you and Grace didn't do anything wrong. I couldn't be more proud of both of you. What did Mommy do, Daddy? I know she loves you, Daddy. She cries every night. I'm a little afraid she might do something stupid. I know Mom, Dad. If she's done something wrong, she'll do anything to make it right. That's the kind of person she is. Give her a chance, Dad. I don't know what she did that was so bad to make you go away. She doesn't tell us anything. Honey, this is between Mom and me. There's nothing you can do about it. Your mom and I have some serious differences that we need to talk about. I'm glad you're at least talking to her, Dad. Grace and I are here for you too. We're a family, Dad, a good family. You should know that. I love you, Daddy. I cried and tried not to show it. God, I loved my girl so much. Sophia picked up the phone. Hey, Connor. Sophia, we need to talk. I'm worried about Grace. I don't want her to find out I'm not her father. You're her father. You've always been there for her. That's what real fathers do. Sophia, I never knew. I honestly never knew. I guess in a way it's a good thing I never knew. I can't talk about this over the phone, Connor. I need to see you to tell you what happened. Sophia, How do you think I can believe everything you tell me? You've been lying to me for at least 10 years. As far as I know, everything you've ever told me is a lie. I don't know what to believe anymore. Connor, please meet with me and let me tell you everything I know. If you want to believe it's all a lie, so be it. But give me a chance to tell you. If not for us, then for Emma and Grace. All I ask is that you listen to me before you destroy our marriage, our family. She was crying. I could hear it over the phone. Okay, Sophia. I'll listen to what you have to say. I don't know whether to believe anything, but I'll give you a chance to say it. Thank you, Connor. That's all I ask. I promise I'll answer any questions you have. Even if you don't believe me, at least I'll know I've been honest with you. The rest of the week, I did my garage business. I talked to the girls every day, and they told me what they were doing at school. Emma said her mom felt a little better after talking to me. My little girl thanked me for talking to her mom. I didn't feel like talking or listening to Sophia. I didn't know if I should believe her, and I had to figure out in my mind why I hadn't left 10 years ago. The best reason I could come up with was that she was truly sorry. At least that's what it sounded like on the tape, and she was going to do her best to make it up to me. I have to say that she kept that promise right up until the last reunion lunch. I really wanted to know why she went and what she was doing there, whether she went to see Marcus or not. Hell, I wanted answers. That's why I wanted to hear what she was going to say. I showed up at the house around noon on Saturday. My two girls ran out to meet me. Daddy's here. Daddy's here. Grace shouted. She jumped into my arms and, of course, expected me to catch her. No problem. I would never let my baby girl fall to the ground, and she trusted me to make sure of that. Emma came running out and kissed me on the cheek. Emma said her mom was making lunch. I asked what they were having for lunch. She smiled and said that since I was here, my mom wanted to make sure we had a good meal since I probably wasn't eating right barbecue steak, mashed potatoes and gravy, corn on the cob, and she said Mom even baked homemade bread, and she helped. I helped too, Grace said. Yeah, you ate it while it was hot, Emma replied. My two daughters, who fought constantly but loved each other very much. Okay, girls, let's go inside. I walked in, and there was Sophia standing in the kitchen, dressed like a Stepford wife. For those who have never heard of it, these were women who were always dressed up for their husbands, usually in dresses and with perfect hair. That's exactly what Sophia looked like. She was wearing a little apron, and the table was already set. Welcome home, Connor, she said. She was putting herself out there that I had to stop some of it, even though I liked the way everything, including Sophia, looked. I'm not at home. I live above the garage. This is my home for now. I came here today to talk to you. That's all. That should knock the wind out of her sails. Since lunch is ready, why don't you have lunch with us? Asked Sophia. I didn't answer but sat down in the chair. I was about to grab my food when Grace said, Daddy, we have to thank God. Then she continued, God is great. God is good. Let's thank him for our food. And thank you for bringing Daddy home to eat with us. Amen. Damn, it wasn't fair. It just wasn't fair. I was here to talk. I ate an amazing dinner, and I knew my kids were being honest. I know Sophia set it up, but not the kids. They were glad Daddy came over for dinner. Damn, that woman could cook. When we were done eating, I told the girls I would take them to Grandma's, and Mom would pick them up later. Dad, will you be here when we get back? No, honey, not now. I'm just here to talk to Mom, and then I'm going back to the garage. The girls looked depressed. I thanked them for helping their mom make a wonderful lunch and asked them if they wanted to go to the zoo next Saturday. They both shouted, Yes, we want to go. Can my mom go too? Damn, I forgot about what they might ask. I told them I'd see what happened and I'd talk to them during the week. The whole time, Sophia just sat there, not saying a word. Then she spoke up and said she would clean up after herself, and I would take the kids to her mother's house. When I returned, she had cleaned everything up and put the leftovers into containers for me to take with me. This whole thing was a ploy on your behalf. Wasn't it, Sophia? I wanted her to know I could see right through her. Hell, anyone could see through that, but I had to start the conversation somehow. Of course it was on my part, but not on the girl's part. They were just glad their father would be here. Well, we better get started. I'll let you tell me anything you want to tell me. I can cut in with questions I need answered. Is that okay with you? Suit yourself, Connor. I just want to tell you everything and let the cards fall where they may. How many times have you had relations with Marcus? My goodness, Connor, you don't have to be so abrupt. I told you I'd answer all your questions. Again, how many times have you had relations with Marcus? Twice. Once when we were together in high school, and that stupid time after the 5th reunion. Are you telling me you've only been intimate with him twice in your entire life? It's true, Connor. The first time was so bad that I didn't even realize how good it could be until I made love to you. I want to add that you and Marcus are the only 2 men I've ever been intimate with in my entire life. I now wish I had never been with Marcus, even the first time. Damn, that kind of threw me off a little bit. I've been with quite a few girls from our class. Glad I don't have to tell her about them. Why did you do it with him a second time, Sophia? I don't know, Connor. Don't expect me to cry a lot right now. I'm covered in tears. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe to compare you to him. Maybe because it was so bad the first time, I might have thought it was my fault. I don't know, Connor. I really don't know. God, I wish I did. I wish I could go back to that day and not do it. I can wish it had never happened. But it did, Connor. It did. And I'll have to live with it for the rest of my life. Her eyes were watering. Why didn't you tell me? You would have left me, Connor. I know you would have. I don't know why you didn't when you found out, Connor. After it happened, I came home and spent an hour in the shower trying to wash the cheating off me. I hated what I had done to you, but all I could think about was that if I told you, you would leave me and Emma. I decided to accept the pain and be the best wife I could be. I really wanted to tell you. God, it was so hard to keep it from you, but I knew it would hurt you if you found out, and we would be forced to divorce. I loved you too much to lose you, Connor. I still love you too much to lose you now. She started crying again. What about Grace? When did you find out I wasn't her father? 2 weeks ago when you told me. I was devastated. I didn't know what to think. After that session with Marcus, I scrubbed and scrubbed trying to wash away thoughts of him. I made love to you 3 times that night. I wanted you so badly. I wanted to do anything for you. That's why I was so happy when I got pregnant. You and I had a baby together, and it felt so right. Then you showed me the DNA results. I didn't know what to think. If I had known I was pregnant with Marcus's baby, I would have had an abortion. I really would have. I want your kids, not someone else's. I keep thinking that if I'd known it was Marcus's child and had an abortion, there'd be no Grace. You see, I'm really confused about that too, Connor. Like I said before, Grace is your daughter and no one else's. She will know that for the rest of her life. I don't want to see her suffer. You're her dad. The only daddy she's ever known. I thought she was crying, but apparently not. Let's move on to lunch, at which you intended to cheat on me again. God, no, Connor. It's not true. It is absolutely, without a doubt, not true. Sophia, I brought a cassette tape with me. Let's listen to it together. I turned the tape back on. Hi, Sophia. Hey, girl. What are you up to? It was Rachel. Hey, Rachel. Just got out of the shower when I heard the phone ring. What's wrong? Lunch. Do you want to come to lunch with a group of classmates? Who's coming, Rachel? Besides you and me, there's half the class. Can you make it? Marcus is going, Rachel? Sophia. Connor will kill me if I go to lunch with Marcus. For heaven's sake, Sophia. This is lunch with former classmates. Not sex with one ex-boyfriend. Besides, you didn't even talk to Marcus last night. And it's just lunch. After the way Connor embarrassed you last night, it would do him good. What time and where, Rachel? Holiday Inn at noon. Okay, but I have to get home before Connor gets off work. He has to be home by 5 or earlier. Well, that's it. You said, after Connor embarrassed me last night, this will serve him right. What did you mean, Sophia? Going out to dinner with friends or having dinner with Marcus? Did you have fun with him too? Or were you planning on doing that? No, Connor. You misunderstood the meaning. I really meant that if I had lunch with Marcus, you would be angry. I can't deny that. The rest was just a statement people make. I had no intention of being with Marcus, none whatsoever. In fact, he gave me the creeps. I tried to stay as far away from him as possible. Ask Rachel. Ask anyone. I tried to stay away from him, Connor. You see, Sophia, I can't believe you. Maybe you're telling the truth or maybe you're lying. I can't believe Rachel. She's your best friend. She'd lie for you if you asked her to. You keep saying you've been trying to stay away from him, so you're telling me you failed. God, Connor. That's exactly what I've been trying to tell you. I went to the ladies' room and when I came out, Marcus was standing there. He wouldn't let me get past him. He grabbed my hands and said, "Kiss me, or I'll tell your husband about the 5-year reunion dinner." So you kissed him? Is that what you're going to tell me? No, never. Connor. I punched him in the head with my fist and then kicked him hard in the groin with my knee. He fell to the ground, and I ran back to lunch. Rachel and Sister Victoria appeared from around the corner. I'm not sure they saw much. You'll have to ask Rachel if she'll tell you. Sophia. Again, can I believe Rachel, your best friend? Why are you home so late? Your lunch certainly didn't last nearly 4 hours. When I got back to the table, I was breathing hard, and Rachel asked if I was okay. She asked if I wanted to drive any of my classmates to the airport, and she would go with me. Marcus was one of the people you took to the airport. No. After I hit him with my knee, he didn't come back for lunch. Besides, I think he came to the reunion in his car. According to Margaret, one of our classmates, he likes to show off his car. What kind of car does he have, Sophia? I have no idea, Connor. I've never seen it, and I never wanted to see it. When you returned, you were dressed nicely. Why? Connor, I always dress well, especially for you. You know that. But I wasn't there. Were you dressing for someone else? Like for Marcus? No, Connor. I know you won't believe this, but I dress for you. I always dress for you. When someone sees me, I want them to know that I am your woman. I know it's hard for you to understand because you're a man, but it's true. I didn't answer. Maybe it was true, maybe it wasn't. I asked her if she wanted to tell me anything else before I left. Well, Connor, 10 years ago I made an almost tragic mistake. I say almost because Grace pulled through, and I wouldn't want to lose her for anything in the world. Other than that, I wish it would all be forgotten and faded from my memory and yours. I love you with all my heart and soul, and I always will, no matter what happens. I was stupid 10 years ago, but I haven't done anything wrong since, including that lunch. For some reason, you decided to forgive me 10 years ago. I don't know why, but nothing has changed since then. If you could forgive me then, why can't you love me now? I love you even more, and I know you love Emma and Grace. I love you, Connor, and I want you home with our family. She started crying again. I told her that I needed to think about it and that I would talk to her again. I told her to kiss the girls for me and went to my truck and back to the apartment above the garage. I went back to the garage apartment and kept listening to the tapes over and over again. I had no proof whether she was telling the truth or not. I just didn't know. Couple days later, Rachel came in and said she wanted to talk to me. I made my way to the office to hear her out. She started by telling me that she found out about the affair after the 5th reunion. She talked to Sophia, and Sophia said that I knew about it. She said it was her suggestion that Sophia not tell me about it. It happened and it was over and done with. There was no benefit to telling me. She told me that the only reason Sophia kept it from me was because she didn't want to hurt me and was afraid I would divorce her. I explained to Rachel that I almost understood what had happened after the 5th reunion. I was curious to know what had happened at the 15th luncheon. Before she started, I told her that I had to take everything she said with a grain of salt since she was such a close friend of Sophia's. Well, I called Sophia and asked her about the lunch. Since she was on the committee, she asked me if Marcus would be there. I said he would be, and she wondered if she should come. I made some silly remark that I wasn't entertaining anyone, that it was just lunch. She said something about Connor deserved it. I think that was her way of saying she was mad at you for the night before. I truly believe she meant nothing of the sort. I realized that statement in and of itself could be misinterpreted. Rachel, where was she sitting? And whether she was talking to Marcus? I need the truth. Rachel, lying for her won't help either of us. She sat as far away from Marcus as possible. One time Marcus came up to her and she said hi to him, but that was the end of it. He went back to his seat. Later he confronted her. I don't know what was said, but I can tell you what I saw. Sophia came out of the restroom, and I saw Marcus grab her arm. She burst out and gave him a good kick to the head. Then she brought her knee up and hit him right in the groin. He went down and she went back to her seat. What happened, Rachel? Sophia was a little agitated, so I calmed her down, and we decided to drive a few people to the airport. It was a nice ride, and Sophia seemed to calm down. Connor, it's none of my business, but I realize you've been hurt over the years. But so has Sophia. She's my best friend. You're right. I'm biased. But she loves you and you love her. You have 2 wonderful children. Don't give it all up now. She didn't do anything but eat lunch. Believe me, she had no intention of cheating on you. Thanks for stopping by, Rachel. You're a good friend to Sophia. Rachel left and I looked over what she'd said. It was pretty much the same thing Sophia had said. I turned around and Rachel walked back in. Connor, there's something very important I forgot to tell you. It might help you to believe me. What's the matter, Rachel? The reason Marcus never came back to the table is because he was taken to the hospital. Apparently, he fell and hit the side of his face on the floor, and it turned black and blue. According to the hospital report, he also suffered serious internal injuries that required medical attention. Beverly didn't show up for lunch. She works as a nurse at the hospital and called me the other day. Believe it or not, I forgot to tell Sophia. Tell her for me. I just found out yesterday Marcus was going to sue the restaurant, but when they found out about the extent of his injuries, he decided not to sue. Thanks, Rachel. That was good news. Regardless of what I decide to do, I'll tell Sophia. Maybe there's some truth to it. If only there was someone I could believe who wasn't our friend. The next day, Victoria, or should I say Sister Victoria Marie, came to change the oil in her convent car. While my boys were changing the oil, Sister Victoria Marie said, "You want to talk to me, don't you?" As a matter of fact, yes. Were you at lunch a couple weeks ago? Connor, stop beating around the bush. I may be a nun, but I've known you all my life. I know you pretty well, and I have to say you were one of the few guys I ever respected in my wilder days. You still treated me well. You were always polite and well-mannered. I respect you for that, and I'll put in a good word for you someday. She smiled. Yes, Connor, I was at lunch, and yes, I saw Marcus trying to hit on Sophia at the restroom door. I saw Marcus grab Sophia. I was going to go and try to stop him, but Sophia didn't need any help. She lashed out and kicked Marcus in the head and then hit him with her knee in the intimate area, so to speak. He went down and Sophia walked away. I called for a waiter who was nearby, and they rendered aid to Marcus. That's all I saw. I don't know what's wrong, but you and Sophia are 2 special people and deserve to be together. Connor, heed the words of a wise nun and friend. If you and Sophia are having problems in your marriage, you should ask yourself just one question. Will my life be better without this person? That's the only question you have to ask yourself. We can't let things like pride and an unwillingness to forgive others for their mistakes take over our lives. Just ask yourself, Would I be happier without Sophia in my life? And act on it. I hope I've helped you in some small way. God bless you and Sophia, Connor. I thanked Sister Victoria Marie as she got in the car and drove away. I knew I could trust her. She never knew what was wrong, and I was sure she wouldn't lie for Sophia's sake. I would have to call Sophia tomorrow and talk to her again. Before I could make the call, the phone rang. It was Grace. Hi, Daddy. I had to call you and ask if Mommy could go to the zoo with us. Remember? Yes, honey, I remember. And yes, Mommy can come with us. I heard her yelling at Emma to tell Sophia she was going to the zoo too. What a family. Grace, is Mom there? I need to talk to her. She shouted into the receiver. Mommy, Daddy wants to talk to you. Here it is, Daddy. I'll see you Saturday. Hi, Connor. This is a nice surprise. I can go to the zoo with you. I could see that she was smiling. You could feel it on the phone. That's not why I was going to call. But you can go to the zoo. I was going to call you to let you know that Rachel called me and said that Marcus didn't return to his table because his right nut was stuck, and his face was swollen. The restaurant staff took him to the emergency room. Unfortunately, he will live. Connor, those are 2 moves you taught me when we first started dating. You said that if some guy came up to my front, I should use my knee and try to hit him in the ear area. I guess I missed, but I hit him in the temple. I have you to thank for teaching me. Sophia, after we get back from the zoo on Saturday, we need to talk again. If that's okay with you. Anything to get you back to me, I'll do, Connor. Anything at all. We all want you and need you to be with us, Connor. Well, we'll talk on Saturday. No need to make dinner, we'll eat after we see the animals. I'll see you on Saturday. Thank you, Connor. I love you. And she hung up. We had a good time on Saturday. I stepped back a couple times and took Sophia's hand. Of course, she didn't say anything. We had fun feeding the animals and spending time together. It had only been 3 weeks, but it seemed like much longer. The kids couldn't have been happier. After we left the zoo, I told the girls they could choose where we would eat. I was waiting for McDonald's or Chuck E. Cheese when the girls collectively shouted out, Red Lobster. I looked at Sophia, knowing it was one of her favorite restaurants, and asked if she was bribing the kids. She replied, I told you I would never lie to you. Yes, I bribed them. What did you bribe them with? She looked at me and said, I promised them that I would try to convince their daddy to sleep at home tonight. I didn't respond to her answer. I asked everyone what they wanted to eat. After eating, we went to the house. It was getting late, so we sent the kids to bed. Sophia and I then walked to the living room and sat down to talk. What's the problem, Connor? What's the problem? What can I do to remedy the situation? Sophia, I believe you told me the truth about lunch. Sister Victoria came by and told me that she saw Marcus grab you and how you responded. She had no reason to lie. My problem is that I never did anything about it 10 years ago. I feel like I should have told you or yelled at you, maybe even divorced you, but I did nothing. I accepted your cheating and did nothing. I'm having a hard time dealing with this. I don't understand, Connor. Do you want to get back at me? Do you want to have an affair? Connor, no one knows but you, me, Rachel, and Marcus. I didn't tell anyone else. I was too embarrassed. So, Connor, you want to get even with me by having an affair? I wish it were that simple. I love you, Sophia. I really do. I always have. I don't need an affair. You're all I need. You see, my sister Victoria came by and told me she saw you fighting off Marcus. Then she told me how to solve my problem. What did she say, Connor? She said you have to ask yourself one question. Would I be happier without Sophia in my life? And act accordingly. What's your answer, Connor? She waited again with tears in her eyes. I want you, Emma, and Grace in my life every day. Oh my God, Connor. I love you so much, and I let her kiss me. I still have a problem, Sophia. If I don't get back at you, I'm going to have to take it out on Marcus. Connor, Marcus lives in New York. What can you do? Wait until the next reunion. Then we went into the bedroom and made love. I got up and put my pajamas back on. Sophia looked at me and said, "What are you doing, Connor?" I thought Grace was coming here tonight, and I need some clothes. Sophia looked at me and said, "Welcome home, Connor. I really do love you. I wouldn't have a life if you weren't a part of it." She fell asleep, and so did I. I woke up Sunday morning with Grace lying on my arm. Looks like I'm gonna have to start locking my bedroom door, but that can wait another year. I loved having my little girl with me. We all got back on track. Life really did get better. Sophia and I promised each other we wouldn't have any more secrets. If either of us had a problem, we discussed it. Neither of us had secrets anymore, and it really took the burden off of us. Time flew by, and it was time for the 20th year reunion. Rachel was back on the committee, but Sophia told her that we would both be attending, but she wasn't going to be on the committee. I called Rachel, who was still Sophia's best friend, and asked if Marcus had sent back his invitation. She replied that he had, and it was for one person only, a small note but not as important. Rachel remarried a very nice realtor named Trevor. We attended their wedding, and although Rachel is good-looking, my Sophia was still the most beautiful woman there. I found out some things about Marcus and, of course, told Sophia. Marcus was a lawyer but not a very good one. He'd made his fortune by marrying the daughter of the firm's president. She was his secretary, but she was the one who oversaw all the twists and turns. That's why she never came to the reunions. She wasn't going to come from New York to our small country town for Marcus's reunion. Marcus, on the other hand, thought he was still the big man on campus. We got to the reunion early. Sophia looked amazing. She said she dressed for me, and this time I believed her. Victoria's Secret dress and underwear, no pantyhose today. She could be my wife, but I could have fun with her right there on the floor. We acted like two newlyweds. All of our friends were coming up to us, and then I saw Marcus standing at the bar. He was bald and must have gained 30 pounds in the last 5 years. He was telling one of his old friends about his new Mercedes with the leather interior. I headed towards him, and Sophia got scared and came with me. His friend stepped back, seeing that I didn't look too happy. I walked over to Marcus and said, "My wife said there was something you wanted to tell me at the last meeting. What is it?" Marcus looked nervous. I don't remember. I'm sorry. Well, I have something to say to you, you fat freak. If you so much as lay a finger on my wife, I'm gonna hurt you very badly. Very badly. Do I make myself clear? You overrated piece of trash. Yes, I hear you. He quickly turned around and walked away. This time Sophia leaned over and kissed me and said, "I love you, Connor. Enough to make love to me right here at this party? Connor, you can't be serious. I don't want to show myself to anyone but you. Come with me. I want you now." We walked out into the parking lot and found Marcus's car. It was unlocked. He'd probably left it that way to show off the expensive interior to anyone who might look. Sophia and I got in the back seat. A few weeks later, we learned that the car belonged to Marcus's wife, and he had borrowed it to show off at a reception. "We can't do it here, Connor." "Of course we can." She got in the car. What a beautiful car. Big, cool leather seats. But we had to get the whole car dirty and leave our underwear in there. We got out of the car and headed back to the party. The party was ending, and we were getting ready to leave. Sophia was saying goodbye to us, and I went out on the porch and saw Marcus standing around the corner, doing something he shouldn't have been doing. I walked over to him and punched him in the middle of his torso. He fell to the ground, and I picked him up and punched him in the kidneys. He fell to the ground and wet himself, and I started relieving myself on him. When Sophia came out and asked what I was doing, I told her I could wait. She replied that she couldn't wait either. While I was standing on his arms, she walked over to him and relieved herself on his head. She emptied her bladder completely. I told her that it reminded me of how an elephant relieves itself at the zoo. She asked, "Is that revenge enough, sweetheart?" I told her it was my pleasure, and we went to the car and headed home. I heard him yelling that he was going to sue us. I told him it wouldn't come to court because I would come to New York and hurt him. He never filed a lawsuit. When we got home, she smiled and said that what we had done was bad. But she was so glad I had gotten my revenge. I told her that the revenge wouldn't be finalized until a few days later. I told her I would keep her in suspense. On Monday, I told her she had to call. I bought a disposable phone so the number couldn't be traced. I asked her to call Marcus's office. I figured he probably wouldn't show up the first day after the humiliation he'd been through. He needs a day to clean up his act. Of course, I wanted his wife's secretary to pick up the phone. Sophia looked at me, smiled, and said, "Oh, Connor, you're mean." I told Sophia what I wanted her to say, and she shook her head and said, "Honey, I don't ever want you to be mad at me again." She called Marcus's office and was put through to the receptionist. She asked to speak to Marcus but was told he wasn't available, so she asked if she could speak to his secretary. When the secretary wife answered the phone, Sophia told her that she had left a personal item in Marcus's car and asked if he could mail it to her. The secretary asked what it was, and Sophia replied that it was something personal. The receptionist told her it was okay, that she would keep it quiet. My underwear. I left my underwear in the back seat of his car. I wouldn't have called, but it was a gift from Victoria's Secret, and I wanted to keep it. You could feel the secretary's fury on the phone, but we realized she needed all the information she could get. She asked who this was and how do you know Marcus? Sophia said, "I'm his longtime high school girlfriend, and we meet at reunions. Would you mind asking him to send them to me? Will they fit with my set? He knows where I live." "Oh, I'm sorry. Please tell him I'm sorry his wife passed away. I'll pass on all the information. You can rest assured." "What did you say your name was?" "Linda Matthews. I promise he'll remember me. Thanks again. And please tell him I said hi." Sophia then hung up the phone. Sophia looked at me and said, "Connor, I didn't feel entitled to do that. I know he deserved it. I want you to know that I did it for you. I promised you that I would do anything you asked. Please don't ask me for any more of these things. Sophia, I think you've proven your love to me. I promise I will never ask you to go against what you think is wrong. I think our revenge is final. The only thing is, if Grace ever needs a kidney, I'll have to go to New York and cut it out myself for Marcus. My family comes first." Life went on. We never talked about Marcus again. We attended the 25th reunion, but Marcus didn't show up. The rumor was that he was divorced and had been kicked out of the firm. He started working at another firm with much less benefits. We heard that his wife found 2 pairs of underwear in the back of her Mercedes. Marcus denied everything and said he was set up, so his wife had them tested for DNA evidence, and the underwear turned out to have Marcus's traces on them. That was enough for her to be convinced he was cheating. We heard he was having affairs with several other secretaries in his office. He used his position to get women. 2 former secretaries sued him. She never sent the underwear back to us, unless Sister Victoria Marie got them. Emma became a teacher and is now married with a family of her own. Grace is married to a race car driver. She runs our garage and makes a ton of profit. She ended up meeting a fellow racer who said she's the best mechanic he's ever seen and definitely the prettiest. She has a lot of drivers coming to her for repairs. They have 2 children of their own. She always said she wanted to take after her father as an example. She told me that some drivers call her McConnor Jr. At our 30th reunion, the committee called Sophia and me to the podium. We were given an award as the happiest married couple in our class. They asked us what our secret was after all these years when there is so much divorce and separation in today's society. I looked at Sophia and said, "Years ago, a very close friend told me the secret between marriage and divorce. She said, just ask yourself if you would be a happier person without Sophia in your life and act accordingly." I always answer that I am much happier with Sophia in my life. As I looked around the crowd, I saw Sister Victoria Marie smiling and smiled back at her. "Thank you for your viewing. See you next time. If you enjoyed this, subscribe to JK Tells a Story for more tales.